All right, hello, everybody. How you guys doing? I hope all is well with each and every last one of you on today. I'm just gonna come in and I'm just really just gonna do just a check in, you know. Coming to consult with Spirit, see what it is they would like to share with us on today. We are the time is 11:22 a.m. Good time, 11:22. All right, so let's look up 1122 before we get started. 1122. That's the number that has caught my attention. So let's look in it before we get into today's message. All right, I'm just gonna pick a random deck. All right, 1122. Okay, we actually got spirits. Okay, so we're gonna go with the spirit cards today. Our animal spirits. So it's multiple different. And then I just saw a bee. I want to say it was like a humming bee. All right. I'm going to post it on my page in just a little bit. Okay, let's look at the key spiritual meanings of 1122. Talks about manifestation and creation. 1122 is a strong sign from the universe that you can create your own reality. It encouraged turning dreams into reality through focus, intention, and positive thoughts. It also talks about balance and harmony. Okay. The combination of 11 and 22 suggests finding balance in your life, especially between your spiritual growth and your physical goals. It is a call to align your thoughts with your destiny. Also can talk about a new beginning. It represents a fresh new beginning following a period of personal growth or spiritual development. And it, and it also talks about divine support. Seeing the number indicates that you are not alone. You are being supported by the divine realm to achieve your highest potential. So that is 1122, and that was the number to catch my attention. And today is May the 13th, 2026. So, like I said, we got the spirit animal deck. All right. So let's go through here and let's see what additional information we can get from that. We're gonna see what additional information we can pull from that. So I'm just going to go all the way through the deck, and whatever spirit shows, I'll take, and we're going to move from there. So y'all having a good day today? I hope y'all are. I hope you guys are. Look like we're not going to get but one. And then, well, I'm going to take this last one and make it two. All right. So we didn't get but two cards from that deck. Let's get some additional clarifiers. We're going to we're going to take this deck. There's going to be some additional clarifiers. So we have the spider spirit. And I just put, probably about a week ago, what did I put? The jumping spiders, right? I put those on my page. And the spider spirit, it says, make your own dreams real, right? And we just kind of somewhat spoke about that, right? It says to, let's see where I saw that at. It says 1122 is a strong sign from the universe that you can what? Create your own reality. Okay? And the spider spirit says to what? Make your dreams real. And the second one we have, wow, the dog spirit. And I am using a dark phone, you guys. And it says, be loyal to what you love. So I feel both of those cards in its own unique way lines in with the 1122. Okay. Be loyal to what you love. So I haven't touched this deck in a long time. So what additional would you like to add to the spider spirit? What additional you want to add to the spider spirit? All right. What additional you would like to add to the dog spirit? And then we're going to get into the message, okay? All right, I'm going to take this last one here too. All right, additional with the spider spirit, we have potion. It says, remember to practice self-love, okay? So as you make your dreams real, also remember to practice self-love. And it says nostalgia. It says focus on the here and now. All right, be in the present as well. All right, and then we have protest. It says start a revolution. And I feel like I don't know why that's been coming in my spirit a lot lately. But we're going to look on that card a little further. All right. I'm not here for problems, but at the same time, we know that change has to be made some way, somehow. Okay. All right, dog spirit, we got quite a few. It says to be loyal to what you love. And the first card we have is the sun. It says paint the sun back into your sky. All right. Paint the sun back into your sky. All right. And then we have a tower. It says unplug and relax for a spell. All right. Unplug and relax for a spell. Then we have what? The universe. It says we're all just stardust. All right. And then we have villain. You can always rewrite the story. All right. And then next we have evil queen. It says you deserve sugar, not salt. Okay. And I get that message to a certain degree, but at the same time, we know sugar makes things sweet, right? But I think people fail to realize that salt, even though it has a bitter taste, salt can make you strong. All right? Lavender. And it says, surround yourself with what? Love. And going back to the dog spirit, what did it say? It says to be loyal to what you love. All right? So those are clarifiers all from the spider spirit and the dog spirit. And again, everything to his own unique way is still staying in alignment with what? 1122. Okay? So let's talk about these spirits here we have today. So yeah, as I was saying, I think it was a humming bee. I took a picture of it. It just wouldn't be still. I wanted to try to take a picture why it just still. Baby, that thing is just going everywhere. And finally, like, I was able to kind of snap it. It wasn't the best angle, but I'm good with it. Okay, I'm good with it. So I hope everything is in this deck is in the upright, because this is one of those both reversal decks. So, but we're going to float with it. So spirit with the spider spirit, we're just going to talk about these one at a time. So it says to make your dreams real. And then with additional clarifiers with that, we had the potion, we had nostalgia, and we had protest. So what are the clarifiers is saying about the spider spirit? What are these clarifiers really saying about the spider spirit? I keep getting hammed up. Hold on, you guys. That's the only thing I hate about this here. It always catches. All right. Our first card, we have a 9 of coins. That talks about your status, abundance, self-sufficiency. Okay. On your own, taking it easy. Um, Fulfillment. And it also talks about what? Freedom. Make your dream real. 9 of coins. 9 of coins also is a single feminine energy as well, right? Okay. So tell me more about that, Spirit. For some reason, when I looked over, I see the Hierophant just laying here. I don't know why, but we're going to leave that Hierophant right there for a minute. Then we have a Knight of Wands coming out there. That talks about shameless, flirt, over the top, adventurous, rebellious, lining the encounter with that protest potentially. We got energetic, confident, charming, excited, heroic, travel. And then you got sexy. Okay. All right. That can line in a lot with that self-love. All right. And then anything else that spider spirit is saying. So really what I'm more so seeing here, somebody just took a leap of faith, okay? Energetic, okay? It also talks about that fierceness, okay? We have the solar eclipse, okay? Finding the inner truth. So I feel that that's how you can make your dreams real. You have to believe, right? So it says find your inner truth, okay? Callous for change. You want some things to change, right? And I just said that, didn't I? So this solar eclipse is saying, it's going to be time when big changes are coming, okay? And then it talks about that transformation, okay? And not only that, it talks about the cosmic triggers, okay? And then you have the beginning, new beginnings. We're going to try to finish this side of this. And then next there go that tower. Now we had the tower to come even over here on the dog spirit. It says to what? Unplug and relax for a spell. It talks about a shocking event. It's a reckoning, okay? And it talks about that energy surge, revelation, and it talks about a sudden, it could talk about upheavals, wipe out, destroyed, okay? You can talk about chaos, okay? And the final one, I was going to try to finish this, but it's getting a little... Well, just go. Some say just go on. And then we have the 6 of Cups coming out there. All right, that talks about that tenderness, sweet. Okay, sweet things in life, sharing moments. Okay, talks about the innocence, the soulmate. Okay. And then we have here 5 of Swords. Okay, that talks about changing something up. Okay, overcoming self-doubt. We did talk a little bit about having that self-love. All right, do it differently, doing something very differently. Okay, making amends if necessary. Okay, and again, unexpected surprises, unexpected changes. Okay, all right, and next we got here. We got the Seven of Swords, all right? It's something may not have been, it says not what it seems, okay? Somebody probably wanted to kind of downplay something, okay? And a lot of times we look at this Seven of Swords, they look at this Seven of Swords as if they are just that, a villain. We have villain over here also with what? The dog spirit, right? Okay. Carrying things away, being sneaky betrayal, okay, getting away, self-interest, strategic, cheating, lying, mask. So that could have even been thought about you. All right, but you know who you are better than anybody, okay? Anybody can put your mouth on you and put out false narratives, right? Okay, also here we go now with the winter solstice, okay? Find light within, okay? So somebody could be tying up loose end on some things, okay? Somebody probably want to validate feelings, okay? Maybe they want to steal off and go off to self for a little while, okay? This is something that could have happened in the winter season or something like that, okay? And the thing about if I'm not mistaken, we are not that far. I keep saying we must still be kind of semi in the winter solstice because this card be coming out a lot. But if I'm not mistaken, the winter solstice it ends right prior to spring, right? And right now we're still in the spring season. So I still thinking we still have some of that winter solstice still flowing in the air because when you really think about it, even though it's the month of May, we still having cold mornings, right? So you have a ten of coins out here. It talks about a family legacy, okay? Things in your finance could be changing, okay? All right, why? Because people may see you different, see that you're not what you were portrayed to be or something. We saw a Seven of Swords, okay? So it even gonna be an outside change, all right? You already done changed on your inside, okay? So as you change on the inside, they gonna see a change in your outside appearance as well, right? Okay. So that talks about an abrupt change, okay, total overall. And if you get the things that you need, you can easily change, right? Okay. Sometimes it just takes resources, right? Okay. And then we have the lovers that talks about a union. Look at that. And look at that. I take that thing as a confirmation. That talks about a connection, a relationship, okay? Being open, okay? Bringing in that harmony, the duality, love, all that, okay? And all that started was evolved around what? Spider spirit. And the spider spirit to say what? Make your dreams real. This here kind of remind me of the Cinderella story to a certain degree, right? Cinderella went through a lot of things, right? Because of what? Her evil sisters, right? Okay? They wanted to downplay her. They wanted to make her feel like she was less than, make her feel like she was ugly, she was a nobody, she wasn't worthy. But then out of all three of them, including with their betrayal, she still overcame, right? All right. So we're going to leave this Hierophant still to the side because like I said, the card was just sitting there, but it wasn't a card that I know I pulled out. I really don't know how the Hierophant card got there, y'all. When I looked down, I just saw it laying there. But now let's talk a little bit now on the other side. Now let's see what more can this dog spirit talk about. Because now the dog spirit is really kind of bringing in the reasoning. I'm seeing more of a reasoning. But I seen more of what you went through over here on the spirit side, on the spider spirit. But now I'm seeing the reasoning, okay, is more over here with the dog spirit, okay? So let's talk now about the dog spirit. We're going to do the same way. Just go on through the deck, and we're going to talk as we go. All right. We see this card is turned up, but this one here is the one to come out. There go 4 swords. Now, the 4 swords talks about what? Isolation, going within, talks about silence, rest, okay? Take a break. And we saw that, right? We saw that. It says what on the tower? What it said? Unplug and relax for a spell, okay? And then it also talks about healing, okay? And then from the healing, it talks about recalibrate, retreat, okay? Why? Because look at what we're seeing over here. It was a lot going on, okay? We got the villain. We got the evil queen. We got Lavender over here. We got Sun over here. We got Tower over here. But we also have the universe over here. All right? So you done went through a lot. Like I said, this is more of the reasons. Okay? The Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is somebody that's quick, witted, fair. Okay? Now this here talks about what? The inner strength. Talks about direct, chatty, realistic. Okay? Quirky. And also it talks about sharp. Okay? Because you had to grow for one thing, right? Okay? And you stayed loyal to what? What you love. And then you have the Magician coming out here. That's that resourceful creator. That talks about your willpower, influence, master manifester, inspired actions, okay, concentration, resourceful, intellect. Why? Because look at everything you had to go through. You had to go through a lot because what? You want to be loyal to what you love with that dog spirit. Then you have the Knight of Wands coming out there. And it says what? Swept off your feet. Could have shocked yourself. It talks about shameless flirt. You ain't shame when nothing you do, okay? Over the top, adventurous, rebellious, okay? Energetic, confident, charming, excited, okay? Heroic, travel. Even talks about what? Sexy. Okay? You become to have confidence in yourself when you done been through a lot. A lot of times, that's what it all takes to really break a person. But you know, 11:44 on the clock now. We're gonna talk about 11:44, but let me make this statement. See, that's the grooming that they wanted to do back in the days. All right, they felt like they had to beat you, and they had to scorn you. They had to abuse you. They had to torment you for you to become a better person. But no, you didn't have. You was becoming a better person even without that. Because what? You were loyal to what you love. 11:44 is a powerful spiritual meaning, urging you to build a solid foundation for your future by aligning your thoughts with practical action. It signifies spiritual awakening, manifestation, and personal transformation, encouraging you to trust your intuition and take disciplined steps towards your goal. Same thing we already been talking about, right? Okay. Tell me more. I'm actually going to take this one. Now we see the 7 of Swords on the other side, right? Now we seeing the 7 swords on this side as well, okay? There go that false pretenses, carrying things away, being sneaky, betrayal, because you had a lot of backbiting going on in the midst of this. That's all the backbiting you had to endure. And then we got again the solar eclipse coming back out. But even though with the backbiting, you were still to what? Persevere, okay? You were still able to block out things that wasn't serving you, right? Okay, because when you have a solar eclipse, or eclipse means things are gonna be banished out of your life to the point you don't have to worry about it, okay? All right. It talks about finding that inner truth, okay? Not only inner truth, we talked about what? The inner strength, right? Okay, and we talked about transformation, right? And we already see the universe out here, right? And the more they kept on wanting to mess with you, not knowing they was causing what? Triggers in the cosmics. They was causing triggers in the universe because of what they were doing to you. Okay? Beginnings. And then we have here a Knight of Swords. A Knight of Swords is mind over matter. Okay, it says what? Do it by the book. You want to be righteous. You want to be in the upright. You want to be fair. Not only fair, you want to be just. Okay, not only that, it says be loyal to what you love. Okay, and this card really lines in very well with this Queen of Swords. I'm sorry, this is a King of Swords, but this King of Swords can also line in with that Queen of Swords. All right, because they are truthful. What? They're wise. Okay, it even can talk about being a little rational, stern. Okay. Sometimes they can be a little detached, okay? Why? Because they done been to the point where they could have been on a journey where they was detached from a lot of things anyway, all right? And when you kind of done got a little bit immune to certain things, and when you know certain things that really can kind of help you stay afloat, okay, you kind of tend to stick with those type of practices, right? Okay. The song say, I can do bad by myself. I don't need no help to start a death. Do you hear me? I can do bad by myself. I don't need no help for nobody to deter me, to sway me. All right? And there go the star. All right? It talks about wish granted. Okay? It talks about the contentment, the spirituality, inspiration, all right, serenity, purpose, renewal. We've been hearing about the changes and renewals, all right. It also can talk about the healing, the hope, the calm, and it can even talk about your faith. But I graduated from faith. I'm into the knowing that the Most High was going to make a way for me out of no way. All right. And next we got the Empress. It talks about what? The divine feminine. Okay? The one that went through the storm. The one that did the things that needed to be done to grow. The one that accepted the mission, okay? Even without knowing, okay? But the thing about it, I come this far by who? Knowing. Because I graduated from faith. Knowing that what? The Most High was going to make a way. Trusting in His words. Believing in His words. Because He hadn't failed me back in Texas. He hadn't failed me from birth. He hadn't failed me from Mississippi. He hadn't failed me from Alabama. He hadn't failed me from nowhere that I ever have treaded my feet upon. He had never failed me yet. All praises. Talks about motherhood, creation, fertility. It talks about beauty. It talks about art. And I love what I do. And the dog spirit say to do what, Susan? It says to be loyal to what you love. And I love being a messenger for the Most High. I love the visual arts that I use to be able to share with others. And next we have the Chariot. It says strength of will. It says forward movement, determined, willpower, success, control, travel, and focus. And we're going to take this one. That's the Hangman. Resisting surrender, uncertainty, delayed tactics, resist stalling, okay, lack of focus, on hold, okay. And that's how they plan to or wanted to try to keep somebody. Final card, though, a balancing act. The Most High make a way out of no way. A balancing act. What the enemy playing for bad, the Most High gonna turn it for you good. Prioritizing, back and forth, quick decision, financial adept. Final card we have here, Spirit. I don't know how this Hierophant just come up out of nowhere, but we're going to close on the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a ruler and a leader, a person of right and wrong, programming, confirming, institution, convention, merit, value, and again, faith. So let's closing word on the Hierophant. I thought I saw a card here, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Yes, I did. Thought I saw one. It's just going the wrong way. That's all. Okay. All right. So let's close with the Hierophant, please. And we have again the King of Swords. It says, do it by the book. Truthful, wise. You can talk about legal matters, regiment, rational, stern, process, candid, detached, and logic, eloquent. All right. So all praises to the Most High. So that was our check-in. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was going to last over 30 minutes, but all praises to the Most High. I may come back and do one more, but all I can say, all praises to the Most High.